Well, the main things like in sports, for instance, we have most of the heavyweight boxing champions use brain tap. The both Super Bowl quarterbacks use brain tap. Tom Brady's one of our biggest advocates. He used brain tap for sports. We use it in schools all over the world. We have a study where we showed in Florida that within 6 weeks, we took everybody off the dementia scale because it's an energy equation. Every cell of your body is producing voltage. And as we age, that voltage goes down. But we can stimulate that voltage through light, sound, and vibration and increase your voltage in your brain. When you were born, your brain was 18.1 volts. But as we age, it goes down. So if it drops below 7, 6, or 5, you'll have occasional symptoms like dementia. But if it drops below 4, you're definitely going to have dementia. If it drops below 3, you're going to start having Alzheimer-like symptoms. If it drops below 2, you're going to have full-blown Alzheimer. But your brain can learn to regulate that energy. And we've done studies with people over 90 years old and shown that we can increase their brain voltage in less than 5 weeks because the brain, every cell of your body wants light energy. The body wants the right light energy and it wants the right sound energy. So what we've done is our algorithm, we just call it brain tap, but it's an algorithm that I've been working with since 1986. And we track it now we can track it with EEG. Before we were doing it through GSR, but there's different ways you can measure the body's react to stimulus. And so we're always looking at, like you do a cold plunge, for instance. People are doing biohacking. They'll do a cold plunge. Well, that cold plunge puts your body into a state of hyper arousal. So now the body has to re-regulate. It's the re-regulation that works. When somebody goes to a chiropractor, we know that when they make the adjustment, the whole nervous system has to rewire around that adjustment. Now it's the rewiring that does the change, not the adjust, but you have to do the right adjust course. So all these things, the body is always interacting again with its environment.
Okay. So what does the brain tap look like? And literally, how does someone use it?
Yeah. Well, we have an app. So some people just use it with the app. Well, we have 120,000 users. So most of them just have the app because they're all over the world, 106 countries. And they just put the app on their earbuds. And if they want to wake up in the morning, we have AM sessions. We call them SMR. They wake your brain up. In the middle of the day, we have reboot sessions that, like we showed at Google and Microsoft, we showed if they did a 20-minute brain tap session, they could get 26% more work done because in 20 minutes, you can have what's equivalent to a 4-hour nap and your brain re-regulates. And now you have that cortisol, dopamine, and norepinephrine again. Just like you have a new morning, you have all that energy. And then at night, we have sessions that down-regulate, to take you into delta, because that's the only time your brain opens up something called the glial lymphatic system. Imagine this. In 2015, they found a new part of the human anatomy. Every physiology book on the planet has the lymphatic system stopping at the neck, but not anymore, because now you reach level 4 sleep, there's a part of your brain that actually activates that's not seen until you reach level 4 sleep. So what I always tell people is, what else is dormant inside our human body? When you talk about awakening the genius or waking up genius potential, we have such genius within our body. We just need to activate it through the right code and through the right environment.
Okay. So what will someone experience? Like, what state will they be in where brain tap will be useful to them? And what are they experience once they use it for X number of minutes or hours?
Well, what we do is we're teaching the nervous system to regulate so that you can increase your baseline activity, so you can have more peak performance moments. That's the main thing people get with brain tap is better sleep. With a lot of the biohackers and things like that will do it because they'll measure their sleep with Oura rings and watches and things like this. And we usually find when we did our study with the coal miners in Australia, these guys were in bed 10 hours a day. So there's a myth out there about sleep. You need 8 hours of sleep. That's not true. You need 1 hour of deep sleep and 2 hours of REM sleep, and I can beat any sleep score. But what we find, 6.5 hours is optimal in longevity, but you have to have good sleep. So the number one thing people get is they go to sleep faster and they go deeper and they wake up with more energy and recharge. In the morning, I tell people, if you drink coffee in the morning, you have a dysregulated nervous system because you just crushed your cortisol. If you're gonna put a chemical into your body, a substance, a biological into your body has to react to it. So it's going to shut off its production of cortisol, dopamine, and norepinephrine. It's going to use caffeine. And that means eventually you're going to have to become dependent upon caffeine. So you shouldn't eat coffee when you wake up in the morning. You just slept all night long. You should have all the energy you need. But the problem is, the brain needs to wake up in an up cycle. So we're going to train the brain to wake up in an up cycle so you have energy. I'm not against coffee. I say you should drink it about.
You mean wake up at the right time?
Yeah, you wake up without alarm. If you're waking up with an alarm, it's actually one of the worst things you can do to your nervous system unless you change it. One thing I always tell people is we now have phones and different technology. Wake up to something pleasant. Don't shock your system, because when you shock your system, your liver will dump 25 grams of sugar into the bloodstream right away. So it's like you had a candy bar before you got out of bed.